This is Helen Fenner, and I have chosen to do my lesson on Chapter 4.1, What are Emotions and Moods? There were three basic terms to know in the beginning of the chapter. The first one is affect, and that is a generic term that covers a broad range of feelings, including emotions and moods. Affect can be experienced in the form of emotions and moods. Emotions are described as intense feelings directed at someone or something. They are very brief in duration. They're usually fleeting. There are many, many different emotions that you can feel, and they are usually accompanied by distinct facial expressions or body language. Moods are less intense than emotions. They often arise without specific events acting as a stimulus. They can last longer than emotions, and they typically do. They can be hours or days, whereas emotions are typically, you're mad for 30 minutes and then you're kind of over it. They typically don't have facial expressions or body language associated with them. You usually can't look at somebody and tell whether or not they're in a bad mood. It kind of takes some conversation to get there, and they are cognitive in nature. Basic emotions. The book talked a lot about basic emotions and how they're action oriented, so it's an immediate response to how you feel about something. As I said before, they're fleeting. They are hardwired biologically, and they're a reflex for us. So if something makes you angry, you might feel your blood pressure rise, or if something makes you incredibly sad, you might cry. They're a reflex. And we have many human emotions. There are probably too many to classify in this brief presentation, but they can include happiness, hope, hate, jealousy, sadness, surprise. So to think of terms of emotions in terms of being basic, it's really kind of counterintuitive because there are so many different emotions. There really is no basic emotion. We do also experience moral emotions, and these are emotions with moral implications because they are a result of our judgment. So we can feel sympathy for somebody who's had a loved one who's passed away, or we can feel guilt for something that we've done that we shouldn't have done, and moral disgust is also something else that comes along with moral emotions. And these are things that are kind of ingrained in you as a child. So if you grow up and you are constantly told, to treat everybody the same and to be respectful of everybody, no matter their ability or disability, and then you see somebody making fun of a disabled person, your moral reaction is probably going to be disgust. And you're typically going to feel a little more passionate about that, and even in times want to confront that situation. There went on to talk about moods. Moods are cognitive. Moods make us think. Moods are enduring. They last, as I said before. One of the things about moods is there was research done, and it is found that generally we are in a good mood unless there's something else going on that's sort of changing that or making us feel like we should be in a bad mood. You're typically probably going to be in a pretty okay mood. That is positivity offset. Moods also include the positive effect. That's where you feel excitement, enthusiasm, high elation. And conversely, there's the negative effect, where that's nervousness, stress, high anxiety. You're thinking of the worst case scenario. The book talked a lot about, or a little bit about, worst case scenario not necessarily being a bad thing. If you're a manager, there are benefits to being kind of thinking of the worst case scenario. If you're a manager, it allows you to think more fairly and critically about situations to help you come to a better outcome. So in summary, Happy employees function at a higher level and demonstrate more organizational citizen behavior because they feel happier, they're more engaged, they're more excited to be there, so that encourages them to be more active. Emotions can help us be more rational in the workplace. They help to guide our behaviors. They allow us to identify sources of that behavior to be able to better predict how people are going to react to a situation, and then you can manage from there. And so a couple of questions that I came up with were, can negative affect be beneficial in the workplace? How or why? And what is positivity offset?